All clear? Contact!
Doing the left seat checkout in the DHC-2 de Havilland Beaver was probably one of the coolest things I've ever gotten to share. But first we had to cover all the basics in floats.
Whatever picture you had outside, which I know you don't remember because a lot of things are going on, that's the attitude that we're looking for when we contact the water on landing.
Yeah, I did actually make note of it, so the compass was just cutting the horizon.
You're a professional student, that's why I should have said that. Should not have doubted you, you didn't register that.
This was a massive project and I finally have time to edit. This is Canada Day 2018 and we're flying a legendary Canadian-made bush plane, the Beaver, in Alaska. So yeah, this was shot nearly 2 years ago and it's one of the most epic things I've ever produced, covering a whole bunch of float flying in probably the best place in the world to do it. And the culmination of this training was to fly a whole bunch of real-world missions with the Beaver after covering in great detail the left seat checkout. The trip started with my arrival in Anchorage, where it was clear that this is a way of life here. And we saw it play out in real time, and I was inspired to stop and talk to some locals.
We're just coming back from our cabin, which is about 50 miles to the northwest of here. We need to take some water and some stuff out there.
This is like your SUV, you just come and do your shopping and bring it back?
Yeah, it's the only way out there. I guess you could take a boat, hike a few miles. There we go out in the summer on floats, in the winter on skis.
So this is Alaska living. I mean, these are cars for people, right?
Not everybody, but
I mean,
a lot, yeah.
I figured this is the place to come for floats.
This is the place.
So I was really excited to be here, and we got lucky with amazing flying weather for almost the entire trip. And arriving at my home for the foreseeable future did not fail to impress. So check this out, that's where I slept, and this is my view. But I didn't get much time to settle in, as Martin wanted to start the training immediately.
Well, first of all, Steve, welcome to Alaska.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We're looking forward to showing you all the neat things we have to offer here. We're going to be covering you just to get you prepared for the equivalent of getting your single-engine seaplane rating. We're going to be doing that in a PA-12. The nice thing about the PA-12, it's a finer airplane. It's not overpowered, and we'll be able to get a good sense of all the maneuvers we're going to need to do on the water, the step taxiing, the plow taxiing, all that. And once we have you up to the level of proficiency to be taking a check ride, and actually make your seaplane rating useful by actually being of enough experience to go and analyze certain lakes. And then after that, we're going to go and graduate to the Beaver.
And he wasn't messing around. This was the week of the summer solstice, and we had 20 hours of daylight to work with. Martin and his partner Tim are working to launch the Alaska Aviation Adventure headquarters. They want to offer float training that goes beyond just the rating that you'd hang on your wall. It's going to be called Apex Aviation, and stay tuned for when they launch. In all honesty though, it wasn't the flying that was worrying me.
This is the part where, like, if I was by myself, I'd be like, what the hell? What about this big long rope? What are we doing with that?
We're going to take it with us.
Yeah, and we're going to tie it off?
Yeah,
Are we going to hit the tail?
Turn on the master switch. You got the fuel in.
Fuel's on left. Mixture's rich, master's on.
Probably the biggest change today is after we start the engine, the tow brakes do not work, the parking brake do not work, and it's a ship in motion. And you control the rate of the motion, but it's going forward.
Okay, so what do you say about water rudders?
Right after we get going, we'll put our water rudders down.
Down, so letting them off the hook. Okay, all clear?
Clear. And drop the rudder rudders.
Maneuvering an airplane on water is not so easy. There's several different ways to taxi a boat with wings. Idle taxi.
Well, idle taxi is obviously the first stage, and it's one that we always use after we pull off a dock, and definitely one we're using hopefully before we moor or get on the beach. The advantages to this is, first of all, it's slow, and sometimes being on the water nice and slow and control is a good idea. It makes you a little bit more predictable.
There were several hours of briefings and ground school lessons.
So let's go 90 degrees to the left so we don't take the middle of the lake in case somebody's leaving.
I'll fit as much as I can into this and the upcoming episodes. We started with discussing the rules of engagement for the training.
The first one, all of us are pilots. You can make a decision as a pilot, even though it might be your first flight, because you're going to be in the front seat of an aircraft, and I'll be staring a lot of your back of your head. You might see something that you as a pilot know it's not right, so act as a pilot. Maybe a go around and maybe inform me of something, but don't assume I see what you see.
Can you hear me too? I got you. You got me? Perfectly. So let's, we try to stay out of the waterway because we treat all waterways as landings, and we like to tuck in along the shoreline, so in case somebody's on final here, stay out of their way.
The second rule of engagement is something I try to apply to all training.
Number two is fun. And you can be safe and train and have fun.
So I like to start with the positive, and the positive is, congratulations, you're officially an airboat captain.
But we still need to clearly identify threats.
Our threats that we're going to be facing today is traffic, just because we have 35 airports and seaplane bases within 5 miles of this airport. We have 20 hours of daytime. You saw the lakes we have, and so traffic is going to be our number one threat of the day. Then in a very small 3 letters, I have VHF. And the reason I put it very small, it's really a lot of airplanes around here don't have to have the radios. A lot of pilots may not have the volume turned up. A lot of pilots may not be on the right frequencies. The airplane you hear or the airplane you see is probably not the one that's going to hit you. Probably see a trend of water sports, and that's because we're going to be sharing it with boats, jet skis, swimmers, and some of them don't have to be above the surface to still be a problem. They could be slightly below the surface. Then the rest of it, obviously distractions. We want to make sure they don't get us off our game.
So now let's go hug the shoreline, another left. As we do that, this is your first time on any lake, you want to learn how to look through the water, make sure that we have enough depth. You see the lily pads in front of you?
Yeah.
So a good rule of thumb on the lily pads is if there's lily pads, it's good enough for this airplane.
It's good enough?
Good enough.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What it's actually telling you when you're looking at a lake and you can't really judge the depth, if you see some lily pads, that area is usually deep enough for.
Okay.
Probably not a goose, but definitely for us. Pick it up with your flight control checks. You see the water down there, the depth of the water?
Getting pretty shallow.
Yeah, so just hang a little, there you go, just a little turn. And right around here, there's nobody that could possibly land on us because they couldn't clear the trees. But we like to hang around here so we're not blocking the whole lake. Let's go along the opposite shore, and then we're going to go downwind, and because we're going to be taking off here. Just like boating, anytime you see somebody, you always got to give them a wave, right? Okay. Look down once in a while, see where the water depth is doing. I see lily pads, we're good.
We're definitely driving through the lily pads now, though.
Yeah, but we're not picking up a whole lot. Sometimes you gotta shut the engine, go back there and clear weeds, lily pads.
Another taxi method is the plow taxi, literally plowing through the water, but this technique is best used minimally.
That we try to avoid, but unfortunately, we're going to see it on every takeoff roll because it's going to go through what we call the plow taxi. The reason we don't like a whole lot of plow taxiing is it's a higher power setting, which means we have a lot of spray. And you would think water is soft and it'll chew up propellers in a hurry.
There are a couple more taxi methods to cover, but we'll address those in future episodes.
One of the things that we're very aware is because it's unprepared surfaces and we're treating this as an unprepared surface, doing a run-up, we're going downwind. And because the wind's behind us, it's actually throwing the water
into the prop.
Don't do a run-up going downwind. You see so many people out there they're just destroying the propeller. Okay, let's turn into the wind. Left. Nice and slow, yeah, so idle, all the way idle. Get in the habit, anytime we turn.
Idle.
If you do that, you'll never get hurt.
Aileron into wind that's turning, yeah.
Yeah, okay, let's do a run-up. We can close this down a little bit so we don't get blasted.
Yeah, we want the RPM for a run-up.
Well, about 1,800.
So obviously we can't stop for the run-up, so that's kind of a unique thing, but I'm not going to cover the specifics of the run-up because that's pretty standard. So for these episodes, I'm going to do my best to really share the unique aspects of the float training. So I won't be including all checklists, but rest assured they were completed.
So we do have a checklist on the windshield, and you can go ahead and check to see if we got all the big items. Okay, now we're into the wind mixture, which propeller we don't have, but we're going to have here shortly. And UPSAF securities.
No, I'm going to keep my shoulder belt loose, I guess. I can reach the flap handle, but it's not ideal.
As long as you don't hit the bars, you're good.
Yep, so we're going to take off. So flaps are staying where they are until
we get airborne. Stick all the way back. Okay, now we're on the plow. Now relax the back pressure a bit. Hold it right here. You see that's a step, a little bit back, right there. You see how the airplane accelerates?
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations, Steve. That was very nice.
Thank you. Get rid of the flaps?
Yeah, if you want. And we like to get speed.
What are we going to climb for?
Yeah, crack about 2,400 RPM.
And climb for 80?
Get about 80. Yeah, that'd be good. And welcome to Alaska skies. So you see how this airplane wobbles? Yeah. Small inputs.
What do you mean though? The rudder is almost like laggy.
Yeah, you got a lot of drag out there. You got 2 sets of floats.
Not exactly climbing like a rocket ship. So
No.
should I keep doing a spiral so I'm above the lake?
No, you could go, hang on a little, go west, so we'll go a little bit more to the left there. You're just going to go in that area where there's a lot of water.
Yeah,
You're going to climb up to maybe 2,500 feet. The Sleeping Lady is the mountain there over to your 2 o'clock. We'll start heading that way. And we like not to climb too steeply, again, because it goes unthread as traffic. And we kind of want to see over our nose. From the lessons after today, you'll never get any higher than what we are now.
Okay.
Now you can start looking lakes differently, so you look immediately around down there. You see where the calm water is?
Yeah, so the
Yeah, there you go. So it's the same one we just departed. So immediately a glance there. I know if I have a choice, I'd like to go past the lake and then turn into the wind. But that's the nice thing around here. You got to check because suddenly the next lake over is 180 degrees different. So we never assume everything's the same. You see all the sets of lakes around 2 o'clock? Yeah, let's head over there.
Once we were up in the air, Martin gave some great advice that applies anytime you get into a new aircraft, something that I just happen to already be familiar with.
Whatever picture you had outside, which I know you don't remember because a lot of things are going on, that's the pitch attitude that we're looking for when we contact the water on landing.
Yeah, I did actually make note of it, so the compass was just cutting the horizon.
You're a professional student, that's why I should have said that. Should not have doubted you, you didn't register that, I don't think, but yeah. The huge lake, well, guess what it's called? It's called Big Lake.
Like that one? Or?
Yeah, that one, the one that's really big.
How do we like the temperature? That's kind of where we want to live when we're climbing? A little high?
Yeah, 90, 150, yeah, we're doing good.
Okay. Yeah.
So once we get to 2,500 feet, just level off, trim the aircraft, and do whatever you want to do to get comfortable with it. I'll make a radio call. And Big Lake traffic, red and white, Super Cub over the Big Lake VR, 2,500 maneuvering.
Alright, so that's our altitude. We want to pull it back to like 2,300 or something?
Yeah.
That's trimming in for hands-free.
Let's do a 180 so we don't get too far when we're ready to go home.
Rolls on a heading and steep turns, along with slow flight and other things, are maneuvers that I try to do each time I get into a new aircraft to get a feel for it.
I do some rolls on a heading?
You bet.
I'm looking outside, I'm not looking at the ball, but am I leading too much of the rudder, or?
No, it's actually well done so far, I can tell.
Yeah, I'm not looking at the ball at all. I'll look at the camera later to see how I'm doing there. I'll do a steep turn to the left.
You bet. Very nice.
I lost a little bit of altitude just getting into it, but I'll be a little less aggressive going.
Yeah, go for it. Clear for the other side.
Almost seems like you kind of have to hold some rudder even when you're in it, eh?
You hit your wake, so obviously nailed that puppy.
Not bad.
Not bad. What we're going to do right now is simulate an engine failure whenever you're ready. Just go to idle, and I just wanted to give you an idea.
And you want to pretend like we need to go there, or where are you moving?
Pretend somewhere.
Like there?
Yeah, something
Okay.
where you think this airplane on wheels might make it. But go ahead, let's slow down to 70. Now you're setting up a pitch, so what I would do is I wouldn't put the lake on my nose yet, but I'd put it very close to my nose.
Like right here?
And right there, so now I know within 10-degree right turn, I'm there. But you can see how we're losing a lot of altitude, so I would go make it, put it a little bit more on my nose.
Maybe some
Because
flaps?
we're going to turn the wind. If you think you have it made, go for it.
I think I have that made.
I think you got it made.
There's one.
Slipping works good? Flaps? Sure. Slipping is not as permanent as flaps,
Yeah.
so if you're never in doubt, slip, and then
But-
you can always come out immediately when you go.
We made it, so
I think we're going to pull the carbide out for a little bit, and we're going to baptize you by fire.
we're landing here?
We're landing. Why not, Steve? found that sweet spot on takeoff relatively quickly. So we always like to go...
How's my speed? I'm a 60.
You're good. You're good.
Got some power and brake the descent.
Yeah, now you're below the tree line, so we pick a point on the horizon. You made yourself a little crosswind, but that's good. Pitch up, that's a sweet spot right there. We just wait till we touch down. Okay, power back, keep that nose up. Keep that nose up at the same spot, and then we'll power all the way back. And then we like to try to go reach for the flaps without pushing the stick forward as soon as you can while you're on control. And there we go. Is this baptized by fire? It was such a nice approach. I couldn't let this one go by. Well, Steve, you're going to be a way too easy guy. You're going to see how much easier it's going to be. You know what you need to do, and you just need practice, and I can't really help you with that. So you did everything just fine. And we did land a little bit more in the middle of the lake, but that's fine. We had ripples. We'll try to change that. So on this takeoff, we're going to do the same thing as you did last time, which is kind of hard to improve. The only thing you could have improved a little bit is maybe 3 seconds, find a sweet spot, but really minor.
I'd done a brief single float lesson back in 2016 after Sun and Fun, but obviously this training in Alaska was a lot more extensive. No need to see another takeoff at this stage.
Very nicely done.
So let's touch on how to select a lake.
You just want to pick another one?
I'd rather you pick another one.
That's a good long skinny one right there.
Okay.
What do you think of that one?
Well, let's intersect the lake in the middle, and then we'll take a good look at it. I don't think I can't say I've landed on this one, but we're going to look for obstacles. Depth, I see lily pads at one end. I think I'm pretty good. I don't see power lines. And the nice thing is what I do is once I know I'm landing, I'll bring the power back. I like to slow things down. You have a nice clear area before we land, and if you touch down just beyond the lily pads, it would be good. So let's pull the engine back to the idle and show me your slippage. Car beat if you need less speed. Go right beyond the lily pads, keep coming in down. It's not the longest lake in the world. By the tree line, at the top of the tree line, which we're approaching now, would go ahead and build the slippage. Raise that nose to the landing attitude and add a little bit of power if you need it. And I don't think you do. Making it this way too easy.
Well, I dropped it on. It was a little higher
you did
than
a little bit. We're good. Flaps up. So, and the reason we do that is we take the lift away so the airplane sinks in so we can slow down. That's kind of like our brakes. The key is go for the flaps when you can. But if you think you could go to the flaps and push the stick forward, don't. Very nicely done.
Appreciate it.
Again, we're doing stuff we didn't cover in ground school because you're way ahead. We're going to start our takeoff 45 degrees before we get to our heading so we can accelerate as we're using P factor to
Alright,
turn.
so I'll get a little wide.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. So step on the rudder.
Yep.
As soon as you get the good swing on the nose, you see we're coming up, raise the water rudders. Add power, and then by the time you add all the power, go, stick all the way back. We're going to finish our roll out on the red roof. Yep. Stick all the way back. Second rise. Start relaxing the back pressure. Now you go hunt for that sweet spot. Roll a float. There you go. A little bit back, nice and slow. Oh, you see how much quicker? Push your nose over, get for speed. Speed's life. Aim for the bottom of the trees. There you go. Raise the flaps. We could still land here if we had an engine failure. Now we're not doing too good because there's power lines.
Yep.
And we're going around. Okay, Steve, I don't know what we're going to be able to show your audience if you don't start making mistakes.
Oh, the instruction's good, buddy.
Now, I don't know if it's good, but you're definitely a very natural pilot. So let's hang a left 90 degree and try to get you back to our home.
So don't worry, you're going to get to see lots of screw-ups and growing pains as I learn this stuff in the upcoming episodes. There's a lot of really great content in this series. I want to thank sponsors and Patreon supporters for helping create it. Part of the reason why I sat on this for so long is because it was such a massive edit to get into.
I guess we want the rudder.
Are we having fun, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm having fun.
Yeah.
And again, thanks to Martin and Tim from Apex. I'm going to put information in the description that's probably going to get edited and updated as they get ready to launch, but it's really going to be amazing stuff that they're going to offer, from bush flying, helicopters, all types of different float flying and backcountry flying, and of course access to that amazingly beautiful Beaver. And until next time, keep your flight chops sharp.
Okay, that's time to hop out. And now you're going to know why we grab a piece of rope. Better hurry up. We're going against the shoreline. I'm not going to help you. I still want to see you fall in the water sometime today.